Hello, and welcome back to Fluent English Journey. My name is Laura, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Your support truly helps this channel grow. All right, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. Have you ever thought that learning English could feel like an adventure? Imagine waking up one morning and suddenly the world around you seems full of sounds you don't fully understand, words floating in the air that feel just out of reach. This is exactly how Alex felt when he first decided to challenge himself. He had always studied English in school, reading textbooks, memorizing grammar rules, and repeating phrases, but real conversations felt different. Real English, the kind people used every day, was fast, unpredictable, and sometimes confusing. Alex knew that if he wanted to speak confidently, he had to step out of his comfort zone. One day, he sat by his window, watching people talk on the street, laughing and chatting, and he felt a mix of curiosity and fear. "I want to speak like that," he whispered to himself. And in that moment, something inside him changed. He realized that learning English was not just about rules and exams. It was about connecting, understanding, and expressing. So he started small. Every morning, he listened to short English conversations on his phone. He repeated words slowly, focusing on pronunciation and intonation. At first, it was awkward. His tongue felt heavy, and some sounds were hard to make. But he noticed something interesting. Even though he didn't understand every word, he could feel the rhythm of the sentences. English has a kind of music, a natural flow, and by listening carefully, he started to catch it. After a week, he tried speaking with a friend online. His heart raced. He stumbled, hesitated, and sometimes went silent. But his friend smiled and encouraged him. "Take your time. Don't worry about mistakes." That simple reassurance made Alex realize that mistakes are not failures, they are steps forward. He began to see progress, little by little. Words he practiced in the morning started appearing in his conversations. Sentences he heard repeatedly began to make sense. And slowly, his confidence grew. But, of course, the journey was not always smooth. One afternoon, Alex tried listening to a podcast at normal speed. The speakers talked quickly, using expressions he hadn't learned yet. At first, he felt frustrated and almost gave up. But then he remembered his goal: to understand and enjoy English naturally. He slowed down the playback, paused, repeated sentences, and wrote down new words. By breaking the conversation into smaller pieces, he could follow along. He realized that fluency was not about understanding everything at once. It was about patience, practice, and curiosity. Each day, he repeated this cycle: listen, imitate, speak, reflect. And each day, he felt a little more connected to the language. In the evenings, he would sit quietly and imagine conversations in English, predicting what someone might say, responding in his mind, and even making jokes. This simple habit built his confidence in a way that textbooks never could. By the end of the first month, Alex could hold a short conversation without feeling completely lost. He noticed that English was becoming less intimidating, more like a friendly companion. He realized an important truth: learning English is not a race. It is a journey filled with curiosity, small victories, and the courage to make mistakes. And with every conversation, no matter how small, you grow stronger, more confident, and more fluent. Alex soon discovered that listening was the most powerful tool for learning English. It was like unlocking a secret door. The more he listened, the more patterns he noticed. Words that seemed random at first began to make sense. He started with simple daily conversations: greetings, shopping, ordering food. At first, he needed subtitles or transcripts. He would listen, pause, repeat, and mimic the sentences slowly. But something magical happened over time. Even without reading, he could start predicting what people were going to say. For example, when someone said, "How are you?" he instinctively knew the reply might be, "I'm fine, thank you." And you? He began noticing the little details, the rise in voice at the end of a question, the casual shortening of words in informal speech, the rhythm and speed that native speakers naturally use. One afternoon, Alex listened to a conversation between two friends talking about their weekend plans. He didn't understand everything at first, but he focused on tone, gestures, and keywords. Gradually, he started to catch the main ideas. They were planning a trip, someone wanted to try a new restaurant, and there was a funny story about a lost backpack. He realized that comprehension is more than just understanding every single word. It's about catching the meaning, the context, and the emotion behind the words. This realization changed his approach to learning. Instead of translating every word into his native language, he began to think in English. He imagined the scenes, the feelings, the actions. Slowly, English became less a foreign code and more a living language. Listening also improved his pronunciation and intonation. By imitating what he heard, Alex could speak more naturally. He recorded himself, compared it to native speakers, and adjusted. At first, it felt strange to hear his own voice, but soon he could recognize improvement. Mistakes still happened. Sometimes he mispronounced words or used the wrong tense. But each mistake was an opportunity to learn. He also realized that listening is not passive. Active listening requires focus, attention, and curiosity. When he paid attention to every sound, pause, and stress in a sentence, his brain absorbed patterns automatically. Conversations that once felt impossible gradually became understandable. And he felt a sense of joy, a small thrill, every time he caught a word or phrase he hadn't understood before. It was proof of his growth. Listening became not just a skill, but a habit, a daily ritual that brought English closer to him. It taught him patience, observation, and persistence. And it showed him that fluency is built on a foundation of careful, consistent listening, combined with the courage to speak. After weeks of focused listening, Alex was ready to speak more confidently. Speaking is often the hardest part for learners because it requires courage, timing, and thinking on your feet. Alex started small. He practiced short sentences in front of a mirror, imagining he was talking to a friend. "Hello, how are you? I like this movie. Can you help me, please?" He spoke slowly, focusing on clarity rather than speed. This simple exercise helped him notice subtle details, the position of his tongue, the flow of his words, and the natural rhythm of English sentences. Soon, he tried speaking with real people online. His heart raced, and he felt nervous, but he reminded himself that mistakes were normal. The first few conversations were shaky. Sometimes he froze, sometimes he repeated words, sometimes he used the wrong tense. But with each conversation, he learned. He noticed that people were patient and encouraging, that they valued effort more than perfection. This understanding was liberating. Alex also discovered the power of storytelling in speaking. Instead of memorizing long sentences, he told simple stories about his day. "This morning, I woke up early. I drank coffee and walked to the park. I saw a bird and felt happy." By telling small, personal stories, he practiced vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure naturally. Storytelling also made conversations more interesting and engaging. People listened, asked questions, and responded. This interaction boosted his confidence even more. He realized that fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It's about connecting, expressing ideas, and sharing experiences. And every time he spoke, He felt a small transformation. His fear decreased, his clarity increased, and his English became more natural. One important lesson Alex learned was patience. Speaking fluently does not happen overnight. It is built through repeated practice, reflection, and self-encouragement. He also noticed the role of self-talk, thinking and talking to himself in English, predicting conversations, and imagining responses. This inner dialogue prepared him for real situations and reduced anxiety. Over time, his sentences became longer, his vocabulary richer, and his confidence stronger. And with every conversation, Alex realized the joy of being understood, of connecting with others, and of expressing himself in a language he once thought too difficult to master. With listening and speaking improving, Alex faced the next challenge: understanding real, fast daily conversations. This was a test of everything he had learned. One day, he joined a local English chat group online. People were talking about movies, food, work, and weekend plans. The conversation was fast. New words appeared, slang, and expressions he had never heard. At first, he felt overwhelmed. But he remembered his listening strategy: focus on keywords, context, and tone. Instead of trying to understand every word, he looked for the meaning behind the sentences. He noticed patterns: greetings, questions, responses, and reactions. He also used body language cues and facial expressions when video chatting. These clues helped him guess meanings and participate more naturally. To improve further, he created a habit. Every day, he listened to a 5-minute conversation, then replayed it slowly, repeating each sentence aloud. He paused, repeated words, and practiced intonation. Slowly, his brain began to recognize common phrases automatically. Understanding daily conversations became less stressful and more enjoyable. Alex also discovered the power of predicting language. If someone started a question with, "Do you want?" he could often predict the ending: "To go to the park? To try this new food?" This anticipation reduced stress and made responses faster. Over time, he felt a shift. English conversations stopped feeling like a puzzle. He could follow the flow, respond naturally, and even add humor. Small victories motivated him to continue. One afternoon, he realized he could watch a short movie clip and understand the story without subtitles. It was not perfect, but the main ideas, emotions, and reactions were clear. This realization transformed his approach. He knew that understanding daily English is about listening, predicting, practicing, and staying patient. Each conversation, whether successful or challenging, became a lesson. And he reflected on how far he had come, from struggling to understand simple phrases to catching nuances, emotions, and humor in real-time conversations. By now, Alex had experienced the full cycle of learning: curiosity, listening, speaking, understanding, and reflecting. Fluency was no longer a distant dream. It was a journey he lived every day. He kept practicing, embracing mistakes, and celebrating small successes. Every new word, every repeated sentence, every conversation added a layer to his confidence. Alex learned that fluency is not a final destination. It is a process of constant engagement: listening to podcasts, speaking with friends, imagining conversations, reading simple stories, and reflecting on progress. He also discovered the importance of mindset. Confidence grows when you focus on improvement, not perfection. Courage grows when you embrace mistakes as lessons. Joy grows when you connect with others and express yourself authentically. One day, Alex reflected on his journey. He remembered the nervous beginner sitting by the window, watching people speak and feeling lost. Now he could join conversations, understand jokes, share experiences, and even correct his own mistakes naturally. He realized that learning English is much like life: a series of small, deliberate steps, each building on the last. The key is consistency, curiosity, and courage. He wanted to share his story with others, encouraging learners not to fear mistakes, to listen actively, to speak boldly, and to enjoy the process. And with every story, every conversation, every practice session, fluency becomes not just a skill, but a part of who you are. For Alex, and for every learner, the path to fluency is open, exciting, and full of discovery. English is no longer a barrier. It is a bridge to connection, understanding, and self-expression. And the journey continues, one conversation at a time. Have you ever thought that learning English could feel like stepping into a world you have never seen before? Imagine waking up one morning, opening your window, and hearing people talk in English all around you. Their words feel alive, fast, and just a little confusing. This is exactly how Alex felt the first time he decided to challenge himself to speak English fluently. He had studied English for years in school. He knew grammar rules, he could write essays, and he could even read books. But real conversations felt completely different. Words came fast, people used expressions he didn't know, and sometimes he couldn't even understand the main idea. One quiet morning, Alex sat by his window, sipping tea, watching people walk on the street. He noticed friends chatting, laughing, and exchanging stories. Something inside him stirred. "I want to speak like that," he whispered to himself. At that moment, Alex realized that English was not just about memorizing grammar or vocabulary. It was about connecting with people, expressing ideas, and feeling confident. He made a simple promise: "I will try every day, even if I make mistakes." That day marked the start of his unexpected journey. Alex began small. Each morning, he would listen to short English conversations on his phone. Sometimes it was a dialogue between two friends, other times a short story or podcast. He repeated each sentence slowly, focusing on pronunciation, tone, and rhythm. At first, it was difficult. His tongue felt heavy, and some sounds didn't come naturally. But Alex noticed something wonderful. Even when he didn't understand every word, he could feel the music of the English sentences, the rhythm, the stress, and the natural pauses. It was as if English was singing to him, and he just had to learn the tune. After a week of this practice, Alex tried speaking with a friend online. His heart raced. Words stumbled out of his mouth, he paused awkwardly, and sometimes he went completely silent. But his friend smiled, encouraging him gently. "Don't worry. Take your time. Mistakes are okay." That reassurance changed everything. Alex understood that mistakes were not failures, they were steps toward improvement. Every time he made an error, he learned something new. He practiced repeating sentences, adjusting pronunciation, and using new vocabulary. Slowly, the sentences he practiced started appearing in his conversations naturally. One evening, after a day of practice, Alex reflected on his journey. He realized that English was becoming less like a foreign code and more like a living language. He could predict responses in a conversation, imagine short dialogues, and even tell small stories about his day. But the journey was not always smooth. One afternoon, he tried listening to a fast podcast. Native speakers spoke quickly, used slang, and included words he didn't know. At first, he felt frustrated and almost gave up. But then he remembered his own words: "Patience is the key. I can break it down." He slowed down the audio, paused after every sentence, repeated it aloud, and wrote down new words. This method worked wonders. He realized that fluency is not about understanding everything instantly. It is about patience, repeated exposure, and curiosity. Each day, he repeated the cycle: listen, imitate, speak, reflect. Little by little, his confidence grew. By the end of the first month, Alex could hold short conversations without feeling lost. He noticed an important truth: confidence in English does not mean perfection. It means trying, practicing, and connecting with others despite fear. Alex also learned another secret: storytelling helps. Instead of memorizing long sentences, he told simple stories about his life. Today, I went to the market. I saw a cat. The cat was very cute. I smiled. These small stories trained him to use English naturally, and gradually, his sentences became longer and smoother. Alex began experimenting with imagining conversations before they happened. For example, if he planned to order coffee, he would imagine, "Hello. Can I have a cup of coffee, please?" He would practice this several times, repeating the sentence slowly, adjusting his pronunciation. This simple exercise prepared him for real situations and reduced his anxiety. One evening, Alex sat quietly and reflected. He realized how much he had grown in just a month. From feeling nervous and lost, he now felt curious, confident, and ready to explore more. And he understood a deeper truth: learning English is like an unexpected journey. It is full of surprises, challenges, small victories, and moments of joy. Every day, even a small step forward, is progress. And every mistake is a lesson. Alex smiled. He knew that he had only just begun, and the adventure of English was just starting. He felt excited for the next day, the next conversation, the next challenge. And most importantly, he felt a growing love for the language, for the stories it could tell, and for the connection it could create with people all over the world. Alex soon realized that listening is the most powerful tool in learning English. It is like a secret key that opens the door to understanding, speaking, and connecting. At first, he thought listening was easy, just hearing words, right? But real English listening is different. Words flow quickly, sentences are connected, and native speakers often use expressions that textbooks don't teach. Alex started slowly, focusing on daily conversations. Simple greetings, shopping phrases, ordering food, or asking for directions became his first practice. Every morning, he spent 15 minutes listening to short English dialogues. He repeated sentences aloud, paying attention to the rise and fall of voices, the pauses, and the stress on certain words. For example, he listened to a simple dialogue. Audio dialogue. A. Hi. How are you today? B. I'm good, thank you. And you? A. I'm fine. Did you see the movie yesterday? B. Yes. It was amazing. The acting was so good. Alex paused after each sentence, repeated it slowly, and even acted it out as if he were the character. At first, his pronunciation was a little awkward. Words like amazing or yesterday felt strange on his tongue. But by repeating them daily, he started saying them more naturally. He noticed an amazing thing. Even when he didn't understand every word, he could feel the tone, the rhythm, and the emotion. Listening became like feeling the heartbeat of English. One day, Alex listened to a longer conversation between two friends talking about their weekend. He didn't understand everything at first. They used words he had never heard before, expressions that were new, and spoke faster than he could follow. At first, he felt frustrated. His mind raced. Why is this so difficult? Maybe I'm not good enough. But then he remembered a simple rule: focus on the main ideas, not every word. He listened again, this time noting keywords: weekend, movie, restaurant, fun. Slowly, the meaning became clear. They were planning a trip, sharing funny stories, and deciding on what to eat. Alex realized that understanding English is more than knowing words. It's about context, tone, gestures, and emotions. He began practicing active listening. He would play short conversations and ask himself questions. Who is speaking? What are they talking about? How do they feel? This exercise helped him catch the main idea quickly, even if some words were unknown. Listening also improved his speaking naturally. By repeating what he heard, Alex began speaking more fluently. He noticed the patterns in sentences. How are you? Always followed by I'm fine, thank you, or did you? Often followed by yes, I did, or no, I didn't. By recognizing patterns, he could predict responses, which made speaking less stressful. One evening, Alex tried something new. He listened to a conversation without looking at subtitles, paused, and repeated each line aloud. He even tried to answer before the second speaker responded, imagining what they might say. This small game trained his brain to think in English instead of translating from his native language. Gradually, his listening improved so much that he could follow short movies, YouTube videos, or podcasts. He didn't catch every word, but the meaning, emotion, and flow were clear. He started noticing details: the soft rise in the voice when someone asked a question, the short pauses before an important word, and the speed changes when speakers were excited or surprised. Listening also taught him confidence. He realized that even when he didn't understand every word, he could still respond, connect, and communicate. He could smile, nod, or reply appropriately. This realization changed his approach completely. Understanding English was no longer about perfection. It was about curiosity, attention, and participation. One afternoon, Alex joined a small online conversation group. People were speaking quickly, laughing, and using informal expressions. At first, he could only catch 50% of what was said. But by focusing on tone and keywords, he started participating. He repeated sentences silently, guessed meanings, and asked simple questions like, "Can you say that again?" or "What does that mean?" People responded kindly, explaining new words, and Alex felt encouraged. He realized that listening is not passive. It is active, demanding attention, practice, and curiosity. And the more he listened, the more naturally he spoke. Another powerful technique Alex used was shadowing. He listened to a sentence and repeated it exactly at the same time as the speaker. This helped him match pronunciation, speed, and intonation. For example, he heard, "I can't wait to go to the park this weekend." He repeated it aloud immediately, mimicking every rise and fall. Over time, his speech sounded more natural, and he could join conversations without hesitation. Alex also noticed something interesting. Listening every day improved his memory and confidence. Words he had learned weeks ago appeared naturally in conversations. Expressions he repeated in the morning came back without thinking. The rhythm of English became familiar, like a song he could follow. One evening, he reflected on his progress. He remembered the first day, when even a simple greeting sounded like a puzzle. Now he could listen, understand, and respond naturally. Listening had become the foundation of his English fluency. He realized an important truth: fluency starts with listening. Without understanding the sounds, rhythm, and flow of English, speaking confidently is almost impossible. Listening prepares the mind, trains the ears, and builds the natural intuition for the language. And the best part? Listening is everywhere: podcasts, movies, conversations, songs, and even street signs. Alex felt excitement. Every sound in English was an opportunity to learn, practice, and connect. He smiled, knowing that his journey was just beginning, but already he could hear the music of English, and that music guided him towards speaking fluently. Practice exercises embedded. Listen to a 2-minute English conversation. Pause after each sentence, repeat it slowly, and mimic intonation. Identify 3 new words or expressions. Use them in your own short sentences aloud. Try shadowing, repeat sentences at the same time as the speaker, focusing on pronunciation and rhythm. After weeks of focused listening, Alex felt ready for the next challenge, speaking with confidence. Speaking, he realized, is different from listening. Listening allows you to absorb and understand, but speaking requires courage, timing, and thinking on your feet. At first, Alex felt nervous. Every time he opened his mouth, he worried about mistakes, pronunciation, or forgetting words. But he remembered one important truth: mistakes are not failures, they are lessons. He decided to start small. Each morning, Alex stood in front of a mirror and practiced short sentences. "Hello, how are you? I like this movie. Can you help me, please?" He spoke slowly, focusing on clarity, not speed. This simple routine trained his tongue and mouth to form English words more naturally. He noticed subtle details: how to place his tongue for certain sounds, how sentences flowed, and how pauses made speech more natural. One day, Alex decided to try speaking with a real person online. His heart raced. He typed a simple greeting: "Hi, how are you?" The other person replied instantly: "I'm good, thank you." "And you?" Alex felt a small wave of nervousness, but he responded: "I'm fine. I practiced speaking today." The conversation continued, and though Alex stumbled a few times, he realized that speaking was not as scary as he imagined. Each mistake became a small lesson. Over time, he experimented with storytelling. Instead of memorizing long sentences, he told short stories about his day. For example, he said, "This morning, I woke up early. I drank coffee and walked to the park. I saw a dog chasing a ball. It was funny." By telling simple stories, he practiced vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure naturally. Storytelling also made conversations engaging. People asked questions like, "What kind of dog?" or "Where is the park?" This interaction motivated him to speak more. Alex also practiced imagined conversations. Before meeting someone or making a phone call, he rehearsed possible dialogues in his mind. He thought, "If they ask me about my weekend, I can say," and repeated sentences aloud. This preparation reduced anxiety and improved his fluency. One challenge Alex faced was speed. Native speakers often talk quickly, and his words seemed slow in comparison. To overcome this, he practiced gradual speed increase. First, he spoke slowly and clearly. Then, he tried speaking a little faster while keeping clarity. Finally, he practiced responding in real time during online chats. This step-by-step approach helped him feel comfortable with natural conversation speed. Another challenge was vocabulary. Sometimes, he knew the meaning but forgot the word. To handle this, he practiced paraphrasing. If he forgot a word like bicycle, he would say, "I ride a two-wheel vehicle." This strategy kept the conversation flowing without fear. Over time, Alex noticed a big change. His sentences became longer, more detailed, and more natural. He could answer questions, ask about others' experiences, and even tell jokes. One evening, he reflected on his journey. He remembered the first day he spoke a single sentence with difficulty. Now he could hold a 10-minute conversation without fear. He realized that fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It is about connecting, expressing ideas, and enjoying the conversation. Alex also discovered the power of self-talk. Throughout the day, he spoke to himself in English. He described what he was doing. "I am cooking dinner. I am washing dishes. I am cleaning the room." This daily practice trained his mind to think in English naturally, reducing translation from his native language. Mini dialogues became a fun tool too. He would imagine small conversations and act them out. Mini dialogue practice. "Alex, hi. Can you help me?" "Friend, sure. What do you need?" "Alex, I want to learn English better. Can we talk?" "Friend, of course. Let's practice together." By practicing these mini dialogues daily, Alex built confidence, speed, and fluency. He also learned reflection is key. After every conversation, he thought, "What did I say well? What can I improve?" This helped him focus on growth instead of mistakes. One day, Alex faced a big challenge. He joined an online English speaking group where multiple people spoke at once. At first, he felt overwhelmed. Voices overlapped, words came fast, and he didn't understand everything. But instead of giving up, he applied all he had learned, listening carefully, catching keywords, speaking slowly, and using gestures and expressions to communicate. Gradually, he participated successfully, answering questions and sharing small stories. This experience boosted his confidence tremendously. He realized an important lesson: speaking fluently is not about knowing everything. It is about courage, attention, and continuous practice. Every conversation is an opportunity to improve. Over time, Alex's confidence grew steadily. He could join new groups, make friends, and share experiences in English. And he noticed an exciting change. English became a part of his daily life, not just a subject to study. He smiled, remembering how nervous he was in the beginning, and felt proud of his progress. Speaking with confidence, he discovered, is a skill built step by step through listening, repeating, practicing, and reflecting. Every small sentence, every story, every conversation matters. Alex realized that fluency is not a destination. It is a journey that grows with each word spoken, each mistake corrected, and each connection made. Practice exercises embedded. Stand in front of a mirror and tell a short story about your day in 4 to 5 sentences. Focus on clarity and intonation. Record yourself speaking a mini dialogue, then replay and compare with native pronunciation. Try paraphrasing. Pick a sentence and say it in 2 different ways without changing the meaning. Imagine a 2-minute conversation in English before talking to someone. Rehearse it aloud. After practicing listening and speaking, Alex faced the next challenge: understanding real, fast daily conversations. This was a test of everything he had learned so far. One day, he joined a local English chat group online. People were talking about movies, food, work, and weekend plans. Their voices came quickly, expressions were casual, and slang was everywhere. At first, Alex could barely catch half of what they said. He felt overwhelmed. He wanted to give up. But he remembered the tools he had practiced: active listening, predicting responses, and focusing on keywords. Instead of trying to understand every word, he listened for the main ideas. Slowly, patterns appeared. He noticed greetings like, "Hey, what's up?" and responses such as, "Not much, just relaxing." He recognized common questions: "Do you want to? Have you tried?" By focusing on these patterns, he could follow the conversation more easily. Alex realized that comprehension is about context, not perfection. Even if he missed some words, he could guess the meaning using the situation and tone. For example, someone said, "I can't believe the traffic today. It took me an hour to get here." Alex didn't know the word traffic perfectly at first, but by seeing their frustrated expression and gestures, he understood they were talking about cars and travel. This insight changed his approach. He started practicing context listening. He would watch short English videos, mute the subtitles, and try to understand the story from tone, gestures, and facial expressions. Then he would replay with subtitles to check accuracy. Over time, his brain trained itself to catch the meaning before focusing on individual words. Another helpful strategy Alex discovered was predicting language. If someone said, "Do you want?" he would guess possible endings: to go to the park or to try this new food. By predicting sentences, he could respond faster and feel less nervous. One afternoon, Alex faced a real challenge. He visited a local cafe where the barista spoke quickly. She asked, "Hi, what can I get for you today?" His mind raced. What should he say? He remembered his preparation and replied slowly, "Hello. I'd like a cup of coffee, please." The barista smiled and asked, "Would you like milk or sugar?" Alex paused for a moment and then answered, "Yes, a little milk, please." This short exchange boosted his confidence. He realized he could handle real conversations with patience and practice. Alex also started noticing small details in daily conversations: the rise of the voice in questions, the way words are connected, the pauses that give time to think, and the use of filler words like or well. He imitated these patterns when speaking, which made his English sound more natural. Mini dialogues became part of his practice. Mini dialogue practice. Alex, hi. How was your weekend? Friend, it was good. I went hiking. Alex, that sounds fun. Where did you go? Friend, to the mountains nearby. It was beautiful. Alex, I would love to go there sometime. Through repeated practice, Alex noticed improvement. He could follow conversations in groups, even when people spoke faster than before. He also practiced asking questions for clarification. Phrases like, "Could you repeat that, please?" or "What do you mean by that?" became his tools to stay engaged without feeling lost. Another important skill Alex learned was note-taking during listening. He would write down key words or phrases from conversations or podcasts. Later, he would practice speaking using these notes. For example, after hearing someone say, "I love Italian food. I eat pasta almost every day," Alex would practice, "I love Italian food too. I sometimes eat pasta for lunch." This method helped him connect listening with speaking naturally. One day, Alex watched a short English movie clip without subtitles. At first, he didn't understand much, but he focused on the characters' expressions, tone, and context. By the end, he could retell the story in simple English. A girl lost her bag. She looked for it. A man helped her. She was happy. He realized he could understand the story even if he missed some words. Alex also practiced listening and responding in real-life situations. At the supermarket, he listened to announcements. In cafes, he followed conversations around him. At home, he repeated dialogues from movies. These small exercises gradually built his comprehension skills. One evening, Alex reflected on his journey. He remembered the first day he joined the online chat group, barely understanding anything. Now he could catch jokes, express opinions, and ask questions naturally. He realized an important truth: understanding daily English is not about knowing every word. It's about listening actively, focusing on context, predicting responses, and practicing regularly. With these skills, English became less intimidating and more like a living language he could interact with. He felt proud and motivated. Alex's journey taught him that real understanding comes from practice, patience, and curiosity. Each conversation, whether easy or challenging, became a lesson. And every time he understood something new, he felt a sense of achievement that pushed him forward. By combining listening, speaking, and reflection, Alex was now ready to engage fully in English conversations and continue his path to fluency. Practice exercises embedded. Watch a short 2 to 3 minute video without subtitles. Write down 5 to 6 keywords and try to summarize the story in 3 to 4 sentences. Practice predicting language. Pause a conversation at "Do you want?" and guess the ending aloud. Ask for clarification in practice dialogues. "Could you repeat that, please?" or "What do you mean by that?" Retell a short story you heard in English using simple sentences. By now, Alex had experienced the full cycle of learning English, listening carefully, speaking with confidence, understanding daily conversations, and reflecting on his progress. Fluency was no longer a distant dream, it was becoming part of his life. But Alex knew that fluency is not a final destination. It is a journey, a daily practice, and a habit that grows over time. He kept listening every day, speaking every day, and thinking in English even when no one else was around. One of the most important lessons he learned was consistency. Even small daily practice added up. 10 minutes of listening in the morning, 5 minutes of speaking aloud, a short conversation with a friend, and reviewing new words before bed. These small steps created a strong foundation. Alex also discovered that self-reflection is crucial. After each conversation, he asked himself, "What did I do well? What can I improve?" He would write down new words, expressions, or pronunciation tips. This simple habit helped him track progress and stay motivated. Mini dialogues continued to play a key role. He practiced imagined conversations for real-life situations. Mini dialogue practice. Alex, hi. Can I sit here? Stranger, sure. Go ahead. Alex, thank you. Do you come here often? Stranger, yes, I come here every morning. How about you? Alex, it's my first time. The coffee is really good. By practicing these scenarios, he trained himself for smooth, confident responses. Alex also embraced storytelling in English. Every day, he told short stories about his life, like, "Yesterday, I walked to the park. I saw children playing football. I talked to a friend about our favorite movies. It was fun." Storytelling allowed him to practice past tenses, new vocabulary, and sentence structure naturally. Another key element of fluency Alex learned was thinking in English. Instead of translating from his native language, he started describing things as they happened. I am making tea. The water is hot. I am pouring it into a cup. It smells good. This habit strengthened his mind to respond instantly in English during real conversations. Alex also learned to embrace mistakes fully. One day, he mispronounced a word during an online conversation. At first, he felt embarrassed, but his friend laughed kindly and corrected him. Alex realized mistakes are not failures, they are lessons that help you improve faster. Over time, he also noticed a new skill, predicting language naturally. When someone started a sentence, Alex could often guess the ending. For example, if someone said, "I love," he would anticipate reading books or watching movies. This intuition made speaking easier and faster. Listening and speaking practice now felt like a natural part of his day. He listened to English songs, watched short videos, read simple stories, and spoke with friends. Even daily activities like shopping, cooking, or walking became opportunities to practice English in small ways. One day, Alex reflected on his progress. He remembered the first week when even a simple greeting made him nervous. Now he could hold a 10-minute conversation, understand jokes, and share experiences confidently. He felt proud. Fluency, he realized, is built on curiosity, patience, courage, and consistency. It is about connecting with others, expressing thoughts, and enjoying the language. To continue improving, Alex created a daily fluency routine. Morning listening, 10 to 15 minutes of podcasts, dialogues, or conversations. Speaking practice, 5 to 10 minutes of mini dialogues or storytelling aloud. Reflection, write down new words, sentences, and self-corrections. T is about connecting with others, expressing thoughts, and enjoying the language. To continue improving, Alex created a daily fluency routine. Morning listening, 10 to 15 minutes of podcasts, dialogues, or conversations. Speaking practice, 5 to 10 minutes of mini dialogues or storytelling aloud. Reflection, write down new words, sentences, and self-corrections. Real-life application, speak with a friend, ask questions, or describe daily activities in English. Evening review, repeat sentences or stories practiced during the day. Alex also discovered that fluency is more than grammar and vocabulary. It is about expression, tone, and connection. Words alone are not enough. How you use them matters. Your voice, pauses, gestures, and expressions make English feel alive. He practiced adding small details to his speech. I really enjoyed the movie. It was very exciting, and the actors were amazing instead of simply saying, I liked the movie. This made his English more natural, engaging, and fluent. One important realization Alex had was joy in learning. Every time he understood a conversation, shared a story, or connected with someone in English, he felt a sense of accomplishment. This joy motivated him to continue, even when challenges appeared. Speaking and listening had become fun, not stressful. Mini dialogues, storytelling, and practice exercises kept learning dynamic and effective. Alex's final reflection was powerful. Fluency is a journey that grows with courage, patience, and daily practice. Every small step, every sentence spoken, and every conversation understood builds confidence and ability. He knew that he would continue learning, growing, and exploring English for years to come. By embracing mistakes, staying curious, listening actively, speaking bravely, and reflecting daily, anyone can reach fluency, just like Alex. And the journey itself becomes a reward, filled with connection, joy, and discovery. Practice exercises embedded. Tell a 2-minute story about your day or week aloud. Use past and present tenses naturally. Imagine a real-life conversation scenario and practice responses using mini dialogues. Try thinking aloud in English while doing a task, e.g., cooking, cleaning, or walking. Listen to a short conversation or video. Predict the next sentence before it is said. Write down new words or expressions from listening exercises and use them in mini stories. Have you ever thought that learning English could feel like stepping into a world you have never seen before? Imagine waking up one morning, opening your window, and hearing people talk in English all around you. Their words feel alive, fast, and just a little confusing. This is exactly how Alex felt the first time he decided to challenge himself to speak English fluently. He had studied English for years in school. He knew grammar rules, he could write essays, and he could read books. But real conversations felt completely different. Words came fast, people used expressions he didn't know, and sometimes he couldn't even understand the main idea. One quiet morning, Alex sat by his window, sipping tea, watching people walk on the street. He noticed friends chatting, laughing, and exchanging stories. Something inside him stirred. I want to speak like that, he whispered to himself. At that moment, Alex realized that English was not just about memorizing grammar or vocabulary. It was about connecting with people, expressing ideas, and feeling confident. He made a simple promise. I will try every day, even if I make mistakes. That day marked the start of his unexpected journey. Alex began small. Each morning, he would listen to short English conversations on his phone. Sometimes it was a dialogue between two friends, other times a short story or podcast. He repeated each sentence slowly, focusing on pronunciation, tone, and rhythm. At first, it was difficult. His tongue felt heavy, and some sounds didn't come naturally. But Alex noticed something wonderful. Even when he didn't understand every word, He could feel the music of the English sentences, the rhythm, the stress, and the natural pauses. After a week of this practice, Alex tried speaking with a friend online. His heart raced. Words stumbled out of his mouth. He paused awkwardly, and sometimes he went completely silent. But his friend smiled, encouraging him gently. "Don't worry. Take your time. Mistakes are okay." That reassurance changed everything. Alex understood that mistakes were not failures. They were steps toward improvement. Practice exercise. Listen to a 1-minute English conversation. Pause after each sentence, repeat slowly, and mimic the tone. Tell a short story about your day in 3 to 4 sentences using simple English. Alex soon realized that listening is the most powerful tool in learning English. It is like a secret key that opens the door to understanding, speaking, and connecting. At first, he thought listening was easy, just hearing words, right? But real English listening is different. Words flow quickly, sentences are connected, and native speakers often use expressions that textbooks don't teach. Alex started slowly, focusing on daily conversations, greetings, shopping phrases, ordering food, or asking for directions. Every morning, he spent 15 minutes listening to short English dialogues. He repeated sentences aloud, paying attention to rise and fall of voices, pauses, and stress on certain words. For example, A, "Hi, how are you today?" B, "I'm good, thank you." And you? A, "I'm fine. Did you see the movie yesterday?" B, "Yes. It was amazing. The acting was so good." Alex paused after each sentence, repeated it slowly, and acted it out as if he were the character. At first, his pronunciation was awkward, but repeating them daily made it natural. Mini dialogue and active listening. Listen to short conversations, catch keywords like weekend, movie, restaurant. Guess the meaning from tone, gestures, and context before checking subtitles. Over time, Alex practiced shadowing, repeating sentences at the same time as the speaker to match pronunciation, speed, and intonation. This trained his brain and voice to sound more natural. Listening every day improved memory, vocabulary, and confidence. Even when he didn't understand every word, he could respond and participate naturally. Practice exercise. Listen to a 2-minute English conversation. Pause after each sentence, repeat it slowly, and mimic intonation. Identify 3 new words or expressions. Use them in your own short sentences aloud. Try shadowing, repeat sentences at the same time as the speaker. After weeks of listening, Alex felt ready to speak confidently. Speaking requires courage, timing, and thinking on your feet. At first, Alex felt nervous. Every time he opened his mouth, he worried about mistakes. But he remembered, mistakes are lessons, not failures. He started small, practicing short sentences in front of a mirror. "Hello, how are you? I like this movie. Can you help me, please?" He focused on clarity, not speed, and noticed subtle details like tongue placement, pauses, and rhythm. He then tried speaking with real people online. Heart racing, he typed, "Hi, how are you?" The conversation continued, and although he stumbled, he realized speaking wasn't as scary as he thought. Storytelling helped him practice sentences naturally. "This morning, I woke up early. I drank coffee and walked to the park. I saw a dog chasing a ball. It was funny." Alex also rehearsed imagined conversations, predicting questions and practicing answers aloud. Gradually, he handled faster speech, paraphrased words when forgotten, and gained confidence. Mini dialogue practice. Alex, "Hi. How was your weekend?" Friend, "It was good. I went hiking." Alex, "That sounds fun. Where did you go?" Friend, "To the mountains nearby. It was beautiful." Alex, "I would love to go there sometime." Practice exercises 3 minutes. Stand in front of a mirror and tell a short story about your day. Record yourself speaking a mini dialogue, replay and compare with native pronunciation. Practice paraphrasing sentences in 2 ways. Rehearse a 2-minute imagined conversation aloud. Alex now faced the challenge of real, fast daily conversations. One day, he joined an online chat group. People spoke quickly about movies, work, and weekend plans. At first, he understood very little. He remembered his tools: active listening, focusing on keywords, predicting responses, and context clues. Gradually, patterns appeared: greetings, questions, and common expressions. For example, "Hey, what's up?" and "Not much, just relaxing." He began to predict responses like "Do you want?" and guessed endings. Alex practiced context listening, watching short videos without subtitles, focusing on gestures and tone, then checking for accuracy. He also practiced asking for clarification. "Could you repeat that, please?" Or "What do you mean by that?" Mini dialogue practice. Alex: "Hi. How was your weekend?" Friend: "It was good. I went hiking." Alex: "That sounds fun. Where did you go?" Friend: "To the mountains nearby. It was beautiful." Alex: "I would love to go there sometime." Over time, Alex could follow jokes, express opinions, and summarize conversations. He realized understanding English is not about knowing every word. It's about context, attention, and practice. Practice exercises. Watch a 2 to 3 minute video without subtitles. Write 5 to 6 keywords and summarize in 3 to 4 sentences. Practice predicting sentence endings aloud. Ask for clarification phrases in mini dialogues. Retell a short story in your own words using simple English. Alex had now gone full circle, listening, speaking, understanding, and reflecting. Fluency was becoming part of his life. He realized that fluency is not a destination. It's a daily journey built with small, consistent steps. 10 minutes listening, 5 minutes speaking, real conversations, and daily reflection gradually built strong English skills. Alex kept practicing storytelling and mini dialogues. He thought aloud in English throughout the day, described daily activities, and embraced mistakes as lessons. Mini dialogue practice. Alex: "Hi. Can I sit here?" Stranger: "Sure. Go ahead." Alex: "Thank you. Do you come here often?" Stranger: "Yes, I come here every morning. How about you?" Alex: "It's my first time. The coffee is really good." Fluency also comes from expression, tone, and connection. Alex practiced adding emotion and detail. "I really enjoyed the movie. It was exciting and the actors were amazing." He created a daily fluency routine. Morning listening, 10 to 15 minutes. Speaking practice, mini dialogues, storytelling. Reflection, write down new words. Real-life application, conversations, describing tasks. Evening review, repeat sentences/stories. Alex understood that fluency grows with curiosity, courage, patience, and consistency. Every sentence, conversation, and practice session matters. Mistakes are part of learning, and each step brings growth. Practice exercises. Tell a 2-minute story about your day. Practice imagined conversations using mini dialogues. Think aloud in English while doing tasks. Listen and predict next sentences. Write new words/expressions and use them in mini stories. Alex's journey shows that fluency is not instant. It is a process of daily effort, listening, speaking, and reflection, full of connection, joy, and discovery. And every day, English becomes easier, more natural, and more rewarding. Thank you so much for joining today's lesson here at Fluent English Journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling me what you want to learn next. Your support helps the channel grow and helps me create more lessons for you. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next class.